Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. I wanted to talk with you today about when did it start? When did you start to overeat? When did you start to pack on the weight, the pounds? Well, let's grab the tiger by the tail. When did it start? It started in your very, very early childhood. You go like, really? Really? It started with you. This is one of the reasons. One, you were not able to say no. You thought you were not able to say no. I mean, for those of you who have a child and you were feeding your child, the child turns away, doesn't want it, goes like that, spits it out again. What do you think that is? It cannot talk yet. It hasn't made the connection yet, but that is a no. That is a very deep, sincere no. I don't want the food. So what do parents do? And parents do that because they don't know any better for the most part. So little has been revealed and taught and put into place about all of this, how children are damaged in so many ways in their childhood because parents simply don't understand it, because they were not raised in understanding what goes on in the mind of a baby, a child, a toddler, a young adult. So saying no is natural. Learning to say no is one of the hardest things, because if you say no to a parent who wants to play with you, for instance, your dad wants to play with you when he comes home, but you're tired because you've been on the playground and you're actually, you're about to flop over. You would really do nothing else than go to bed. But your dad wants to play with you. And when you say no, excuse me, that makes you feel guilty. So you say yes, even though your heart says no. Check it out. That's the way it is. You do things against your gut feeling. Same with food. How many times have you heard on the table when you are having dinner? And I remember incidences with my brother who could absolutely not, ever, never eat, the little rim of fat on a pork chop. It really made him gag, throw up. And for some oddball reason, my mother did not take it off. Maybe my father did not allow it. I don't know. My brother was 3 years older, but I remember the scenes. And my brother would literally sit for an hour, 1.5 hours at the table until he had somehow finished the meat, the pork chop, with the fat, or my mother gave in and just, did something and, excuse me, just took it away. But for sure, he did not get dessert, which was, I don't know what, piece of fruit or a pudding or yogurt or whatever it was. So you eat despite the fact that you don't want to eat it. You're not hungry, you don't like it, but you have one main reason. It's to please your parent, whether it's one or two parents, to please the parent. Why? Because that's survival. It's very simple. You know from day one that you need to survive. And the only way to survive is to please your caregiver, whether it is your parent, a blood parent, your real mother or father, or whether it is a caregiver in a foster home or whatever. And if you don't comply with their rules and regulation as far as food is concerned, because you should be so grateful because there are hundreds of thousands of little children who go to bed hungry tonight. Yeah? Do you remember hearing that? I've heard that. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. I come from Europe, and in those days we had the hunger in Africa, which was always dangled in front of our head. All those little children in Africa and Biafra and wherever else go hungry tonight to bed. And you don't want to eat that? Who determined how much was on your plate? Not you. Your parent. And they determined that according to a book they had read, the doctor, what they said, the nurse, the pediatrician, whoever. And, in the beginning, it was sort of acceptable that you didn't eat everything, but maybe somebody, a doctor or a teacher said, your kid is kind of skinny. Well, maybe your kid likes to be skinny. Maybe you loved being skinny. I love being skinny. So your parents just forced food in you. They didn't know any better. And you didn't know any better. So that's when it all started, way, way back when. So all those programs that were programmed into you are not your programs. The beliefs that you formed about yourself were not really your beliefs. They were the beliefs that your parents told you. If you don't finish your plate, you're not a good boy. If you don't, if you don't eat everything that's on your plate, you're a naughty girl. Well, that's the last thing you want to hear. The very last thing. So especially with certain foods, you did not create a love bond. There was not a good relationship with certain foods, but the parents determined that you needed to eat it, so you eat it. Have you ever, as a baby or as a small child, have you ever been fed Brussels sprouts? How does that go down? Not. My mother was, thank God, so smart not to do that. And right now, as an adult, I've always loved Brussels sprout. But as a child, no. My brother loved raw herring. Coming from a coastal country, my brother loved raw herring. Don't even come close to me with raw herring. My mother tried it once or twice, that didn't go, and she didn't force it onto me. I would say 90% of all fish. I love it. Some I'm indifferent to, but the majority of fish I love. Again, being born on the ocean side, we had a lot of fish. At least once a week we had fish. If not twice a week we had fish in those days. Real fish, not farm raised. Thank you very much. So your relationship with food starts when you're very young. And that program is never looked at again, never scrutinized, never evaluated, never changed. You have those same beliefs, period. And that's what you got to look at. What are your feelings about food? What are your feelings about your relationship with food? What are your feelings looking back about how you were eating, how much you were eating, when you were eating? It's the same kind of story like when people are in a hospital and they get a sleeping pill. So, sometimes they just fall asleep themselves, and then it's the old-fashioned story. I don't know if they still do it. I've been in the hospital twice. Appendix and I don't know, it's something else. Oh yeah, I think I broke a foot. And then you're really deep asleep, and then the nurse wakes you up to say, you got to wake up because you need to take your sleeping pill. Yeah, you think it's a joke? No, it was not a joke. That was done in those days because those were the rules and regulations. If you didn't take your pills, not good. So what does this all have to do with you being overweight, obese? Very simple. Your beliefs and your programs are still running in the background, and it would behoove you to take a real good look at that. Now, that's not always easy because you don't even know that those programs are running in the back. You don't even know that you have those beliefs. And that's where hypnotherapy, that's where I come in, because I take you back and we go through all of those scenes. But that's another story. And if you want to learn more, just, direct message me. I'm here. So I appreciate you tuning in. I hope this helps a little bit. If you love this information, press the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so, pass it on to anybody who you think might benefit from it. If you don't like it, that's okay as well. It's not going to break my heart, trust me. I'm not here to please the world. Just a few happy people who want to learn more from me. And remember, this is all my experience. I have learned so much from my absolutely fantastic, loving mentors, and I'm just passing that on, helping you, educating you, and I put my own special sauce over it. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Till next time, check in with yourself. Most important.